Alright, so my first video of the week. Basically went inside for a while and let this stuff start drying out here, and I come back out, set the inner structure, tucked it up under this lip right here. Make sure it's sturdy. I tucked it up under this lip here, and you can see I got it standing up here with the board. And the plan is to squirt the panel bond on the areas that get panel bond on them before I sandwich this back together. And then that should hold that skin away from the panel so that I can actually sand the outside of it without it flexing and carrying on. So alright, I'll get that panel bond on there and squeeze this thing together, and probably kind of locate it and shoot a screw on all four corners to hold it in place while I weld it back together. Thought I'd show you that. That's where I'm at with it. Getting this sandwich back together. Got this done. I'll probably order some polyester primer, and this should be dry enough by the time I get the polyester primer in to hit this again with some sandpaper, smooth some little dookies out. Yeah, I call them dookies. But, you know, just kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but there and there, stuff I didn't see before. So, yep, sand this and then shoot some polyester primer on it, and then give it a good sanding to make it look pretty, and then shoot a sealer, and then once it's sealed up, I'll go ahead and shoot some color on it. Alright, just thought I'd show you what I was up to. This is the first video of the week. I'm out. Another quick little video with the fender tags, all in epoxy primer here, and you can tell just by the location of the holes that were drilled in these that this special handling tag did come with this car, or else, you know, maybe the hole would have been in a different location or whatever. My opinion. Alright, Sunday morning, cool in here. I figure I would beat the heat, come out and oh no, my hood's laying on the ground. Not really, I laid it flat like that after I put the seam sealer in and shot 4 screws, one in each corner, and laid it on the floor flat like that so that it would dry and adhere. But I'm going to pull it up and put it back on the stand and then weld the edges. But I don't want too much heat on the edges here, so I'm going to take my time so that I don't warp the skin But alright, that's where I'm at with it. I'll be back. Okay, so I'm gonna start reattaching the hood skin, but I want to take extra care welding this back together because I don't want to warp the skin. So I'll be taking my sweet time, and I'll be moving around a little bit to get it done. And got my air wand on there so I can blow the air on them after I weld them shut. But that's kind of weld this shut, blow it. For the ones that are drilled all the way through, which I didn't drill very many of them all the way through. There's maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5. But for those, I got a old bracket off a CB antenna made of aluminum, and I'll be able to squish this together and use that as a backing to get the weld done on those areas. Alright, get back with you. Oh, and I did get the panel bond on in between all the areas it belongs. Way back in there too, you probably can't see it, but yep, all the panel bonds on, and it's pretty much dry. So alright, okay, don't laugh at me. I got 4 of the welds done, and then I thought my wire was getting stuck in the tip of the gun, but yeah. So I went through a whole roll of wire on this car so far. Well, roll and a half, because I bought this one brand new after doing a little bit of the sheet metal work. I had to go get a new one. So I don't know how many feet is that. Doesn't tell you how many feet, does it? But anyways, I'm out. Nothing I can do today. Without my welder, I can't get this skin welded on, and that means I'll be moving on, going on in the house to do something in the house. Disappointing, but oh well, it is what it is. Get up out of here. Night night. Well, that was a short break. Amazon to the rescue. Amazonians come running up in here bringing me some more wire. I estimated it. I've put, I think, pretty close to 6,000, about 6,400 feet of wire in this car so far. So yeah, 6,400 some feet of wire into building this car. I think I'm going to be probably close to 6,600 when I'm done feet of wire. But alright, that's where I'm at. Amazonians came through and delivered me some wire. About 3 hours is what it took. Same day delivery. So get back to welding on this. Get back with you. Okay. I got the sides all welded on, grinded, both sides. Cleaned up the ends and the outs. Folded the pinch weld back on, or not the pinch weld, the flange across here. Just had to hammer it back down. I still see I got a little bit sticking up here, so I'll hit that real quick. But as of now, pretty much can say the hood is buttoned up on this side. Just have to shoot a little bit more primer on the sides, but I'll do that whenever I put it back on the car. Well, maybe not, because I plan on primering and painting the bottom. So I think I'll probably end up, what I'll do is I'll paint them sides at the same time. Well, maybe two right here. But I'll put them in primer anyways. That way they won't rust. And I can get this bottom cleaned up and sprayed car color. And I've ordered some what do you call it, quicksand or something like that. Anyways, body man in the can, slick sand. So I can spray on this. I might spray a little bit on here too, just to have another coat and that I can sand, where I can clean it up and really make it look good before I seal it. And then seal it, and once it's sealed, shoot some color and clear on them. Want to get this done ASAP because time keeps ticking into the future, and I need to get this stuff done and on the car so I can get the car down on the ground, so I can get the fenders finished up, body panels lined up, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Got to get stuff done and get it moving. So, alright, I'll get back with you. So I went to the paint shop and wanted to get another small quart of the epoxy, and I called them last week and told them I wanted some, and they didn't have any gray on hand, and they said that they would have it this week, and I went up there and they didn't have it today. Actually went to get the slick sand, was the main thing I wanted to get to put on the trunk lid and kind of straighten up a few things. But she was like, well, being I don't have it here, I'll let you have the gallon at my cost. So I got the gallon of epoxy primer for their costs, which was pretty cheap. So once the car gets put together, I'll have the epoxy to get it all put in this darker gray epoxy here, which ain't no big deal because the slick sand to be going over the top of that, and then a sealer will go on after that. Anyways, just thought I'd show you kind of where I'm at with it. Gonna put some couple spots here that I found, a little dent here that I want to get repaired. Need to sand like a little line off of here. Got a little line there and a little line right there that needs to be sanded. A little bit more sanding back in here that needs to be done. Same thing here and here. I just kind of penciled out places that need to be sanded, but I'll scuff it all up before I put the slick sand on it. And then once I slick sand this, I'll be able to kind of fine tune any funkiness out of it. But alright, that's where I'm at with it. Gonna apply a little bit of slick sand and let it dry, and get it sanded down and then sealed. That way I can put some color on it. I think I got a little bit of color left. No, not very much. Might have to go grab a quart of that too. But anyways, get a quart of the color. That way we can get the hood and the deck lid and color on the back side of it and installed on this car finally. Yay! That's great. Well, all I can say is welcome to Kansas. It's 71 in the garage today. We got a cold front, overcast skies, like 60s out there, 65 or something like that. But gonna get started on this today, doing some fine tuning and some sanding and getting some small little areas straightened up. I have started getting sandpaper ordered for the boards to sand, and I've started ordering some of the decals and stuff that go on the car, where this one goes up on the hood, the emissions sticker. But yep, there's a few other ones like the door sticker and the trunk jack sticker, tire pressure sticker, coolant bottle sticker, just a few other ones that I need to order. But I got them in my wish list over on Classic Industries. But anyways, that's where I'm at with it. Get that put back in there and do some sanding on this thing, and then once I get it sanded, I'll probably shoot a coat of the slick sand on. Get the slick sand on it and then let it dry and do another round of sanding on it. But alright, that's where I'm at with it. Just moving on. Alright, so this is round one here. Epoxy primer. I sanded it all down with I believe it was 220. Let me make sure here. Don't want to lie to you. Yeah, 220. But Scuffed it all down with 220 to get the slick sand something to bite on. But while I was sanding, I come across a couple spots. So got a little plastic filler putting in a couple areas where there's a dent here, dent here. This little area here wasn't looking that great. You can still see some of the welds in this area. Excuse me. And then this area here that had all those small dents, I done put one layer over it and sanded it, but it was still kind of showing a little bit here and there, so I went ahead and put some more on that area. This side here, it was kind of dipped in a little bit here, and I just didn't like the way it was looking, so smeared a little bit on there. I'm gonna straighten that area out a little bit, and once I get these areas sanded, I'll go ahead and shoot that slick sand on. Put a couple coats on it anyways. I figure a couple coats and then a sand with maybe some 320 at the end of that, and then put a seal coat on it, and then some color. It's color and clear. I know. It seems like a lot to do on the inside of a trunk lid, but like I said, I've been doing car shows long enough now to know what the judges look at and what the judges are looking for. Yeah, not showing off or anything, but I've won a few awards. Best 70-79, first place, gold awards, best engine awards, first place, World of Wheels, outstanding interior, ISCA award. So yeah, best Mopar, first place 70-79. You can see that year I got 2 awards from that show. I got first place and the best Mopar at that show. So yeah, anyways, gonna try to make it nice. And like I was saying, when you're at the car shows, you have your trunk lid open, and they're gonna look at it. They're gonna look at the bottom of it, and they're gonna look at the top of it. So want to make the bottom look as good as the top. I'm rambling now. Alright, I'm out of here. I'm gonna get this sanded, looking good. Shoot some polyester primer, and I think on this I will probably go ahead and hit this all with the sandpaper and probably do the same thing to it. I did see, after I got it all put together, a couple little rust holes here that I'm going to take care of, and then a little bit of surface rust there. But there's just a few little spots that you can't hardly see on the camera, but you can see it's kind of textured there. So I will sand this down and maybe just shoot a seal coat on it. I don't think I'm going to go polyester on this one, because I don't think it's going to need it that much. It's pretty nice. So anyways, just kind of get rid of the rough spots. I don't know, can you see that? Yeah. And then shoot a seal coat on it. Alright, I'll get back with you. Fine tuning, getting them ready for some paint. I'd like to have some paint on them this week, within the next couple of days, and get them installed on the car eventually. Later. Alright, so once again, I decided to go ahead and read the directions on the can, and it said that if you had any spots that were a quarter or bigger that were bare metal, that you should probably put some epoxy primer back on them spots before you do the slick sand. So I think that's bigger than a quarter, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of the epoxy mixed up and just kind of hit these ball-headed spots that I got after I sanded and repaired the little areas. So that's where I'm at with it. Another step. Alright, bye. Alright, so had a little bit of extra epoxy primer left over from doing my touch-up work on that, so I went ahead and shot the motor mounts in epoxy. And then the slick sand polyester primer, which is like a high build. They call it body man in a can. But anyways, I got 2 coats of that. Yeah, maybe 3. Probably about 3 coats of that on the deck lid here. So I gotta let that dry out. I had those rust holes that were back here. I went ahead and welded those shut while I was here and sanded this back piece. Sanded this lip here and then scuffed all this up with the 320, and then went back over it with the Scotch-Brite, brown Scotch-Brite, and got it all scuffed up. Because like I was saying on this here, I think I'll just put a seal coat on it and then put the color and clear on. I had these little rust holes that were here. I went ahead and closed those shut, and that's about it for today. I'm just gonna leave it be, let that dry, and then I got a service call in the morning to go install a dishwasher, so that's what I'll be doing in the morning. If I have time when I come back, this should be dry by then. I could go ahead and go over it and fine tune anything with maybe a 300 or somewhere around there, and then 400, just to get rid of the texture of it and smooth it out. Will be looking pretty. I can throw some paint on it and it won't look hideous. So anyways, that's where I'm at with it. All scuffed, polyester primered, epoxy primer. There's just so many damn different chemicals and stuff you got to put on these cars. It's crazy. But alright, that's where I'm at with it. I'll get back with you on that. Alright, so after letting this dry for a few hours, data sheet said a couple hours, but I went ahead and gave it a little bit longer. I went my first round over the whole thing to knock down all the orange peel with basically 220, or excuse me, 120. 120, and that basically knocked down all the if you've ever used polyester primer, you know how it's kind of textured after spraying it. But it's pretty thick, and it knocked it down pretty good. You can still see a little texture in it, so that's why I will be going a second round. Probably use 320 on my second round, and then call it. So 320, and then shoot a sealer over it. I figured do that, and then I can shoot my seal coat over both pieces at the same time. That way I'm knocking out two birds with one stone. And then once the seal coat's on, do some base and clear. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. Be back with you. Alright, round 2. And that was 320 grit. And I gotta say, it looks pretty good. That's already ready for a seal coat, and this is ready for a seal coat. So if you don't know what a seal coat is, you take your epoxy primer and mix it, and then thin it down with some reducer, and then you can use it as a sealer too. So that's where I'm at with it. Get this thing sealed up, and then get some color on it. Color and clear. And then I can get it installed on the car. I'll probably pull the bolts out and clean them up and put some primer on them, and then put them in like a cardboard box and paint the bolts at the same time. Same way with the hood bolts. Get them all painted at the same time. Try to get these all cleaned back up and take them off and paint them at the same time too. So that's the plan. Get them in a seal coat, get these cleaned up and ready for paint, and get the hood, under the trunk, springs, and the bolts for the hinges, and the hood bolts and the trunk bolts. Get them all in paint, including the bolts for here. So that's where I'm at. I'll gather up all those bolts and get them cleaned up and ready for paint. That way I can just put them in a cardboard box, poke a hole in the top of a cardboard box and put them in there and paint them as I'm doing this here. Alright, because I am done with dealing with this. I've been on it for, oh man, going on 2 weeks, and I am bummed and bored with it. I want to get this done and out of the way so I can get them on the car, get that car flipped over, put the valance on, and start working on them fenders and door gaps and all that good stuff. Alright, so I did find with that slick sand, man, that stuff really clogs up the sandpaper. You got to constantly blow your sandpaper out. So I just got this and kept it connected to the air hose, and every time I get the sand, you can see it clogs it up pretty good. But that was one piece I used on the whole deck lid. So I mean, it doesn't waste it, you can just keep blowing it out, but it sure clogs it up a lot. But oh, all right. So round two. Went ahead and got it all sanded down with the 320, and it's ready for seal coat, which will be the epoxy primer mixed and then thinned down a little bit with some reducer, some medium reducer more than likely, and that will be my seal on this here. So anyways, got this ready to be sealed, and I got this ready to be sealed. And one thing I can say about that slick sand stuff, it sure clogs up the sandpaper. Not saying it uses a lot, but at the same time, that one piece, I used that one piece on the trunk lid, and got to keep a little blower connected. That way you can continuously just blow the dust out of the paper, and then move on and blow it out and move on a little bit, move on. But it really does. It clogs the crap out of your paper. But it is what it is. I mean, it's basically a filler, and it's a spray-on filler, so that's what it is. And that's anytime you're using a lightweight filler, same thing. I mean, it really clogs the sandpaper up, and you just, like I said, you just got to keep blowing it out. But anyways, I am ready to move on. Ready to get moving on. Get this in color, get that in color, get these cleaned up, repaired, and in color. At the same time, I'm going to take the bolts, the trunk lid bolts, the hood bolts, the hinge bolts, the lock mechanism bolts, get them all cleaned up, primered, and ready to put them in like the top of a box or something. I know I got a box around here somewhere. Just poke a bunch of holes in it and set the bolts inside of it and get them in color at the same time. That way, when I'm done and this stuff dries, the bolts, the hood, the trunk lid, the hinges are all ready to go on, and I don't have to wait for bolts to dry or take my airbrush and paint them later or anything like that. I just want to get them done, out of the way, get this car assembled, and move on from this and this. Like I said, it's been almost 2 weeks dealing with this and this. I wasn't expecting to have to yank a hood apart, but with all the hail damage it had, there was no way I could leave it the way it was. On this, I think I'm going to get a little hose and connect to my seam seal. I got a clear hose I can hook to it, and I'm going to stand the hood up over here, stick the hose in this way, and pump it full this way, pump it full that way, this way, and pump all 4 of these and all 4 of these areas with a nice glob of seam seal in there, and then I'll lay the trunk lid down flat on the bodywork stands and let it dry overnight too. That way, when I'm sanding that, it's not going to be doing this. Anyways, that's where I'm at with it. I'm done sanding for tonight. I'm going in I'll talk at you later. Alright, so I'm gonna try to mess with this here, but I got a few other things I need to get taken care of before I go shooting any primer or anything like that. Gotta get the bolts cleaned up, hinges, hood hinges cleaned up, and I've already wiped this off, so we're good there. And then my wife, yesterday when I showed her the video of me doing this, and she was like, "You're not getting no overspray on that car?" I said, no. And I was like, this morning, I was like, man, she done psyched me out. Where I was like, you know what? Just go ahead and cover it up. So she psyched me out, and I had to come out here and cover the car up so I don't get no overspray on it. Alright, I'll get back with you on it. Alright, so the hinges in epoxy primer. Basically I sandblasted them and sanded them and then sandblasted them. Got them clean. Put an epoxy coating on them. And got an epoxy coat on this, which is a seal coat. Waiting for it to dry. I had one little piece of dirt come out, and got this sealed. So with these two sealed, the data sheet says that I can coat it in an hour at 72 degrees, so I got an hour. Some base coat, clear coat here. Get these in color, them in color, and get my bolts in color. Moving on, man, moving on. Trying to get this set up where I can get the hood and the trunk lid on the car. Probably gonna clean up my torsion bars. Take a wire brush to them, clean them up, sand them, whatever it has to do to get them clean, and get the torsion bars installed on the car. I'd like to get the steering box cleaned up and installed. It's been sandblasted, but it's still got a little grease on it here and there, so it needs a little bit of attention. And I'll get that cleaned up and installed, torsion bars cleaned up and installed, and all the front end bolts torqued to spec, grease zerks put in, let's see, brakes and wheel bearings installed, and basically get the front end put together where I can put the wheels and tires on the front and set the front end of the car down on the wheels and tires. I don't want to put jack stands under it because I'm afraid that I'm going to scratch the new paint with jack stands. I could probably duct tape some towels and stuff on them, but I figure if I could just get the wheels and tires on the front, get this car moved over here to the center, where I can walk around both sides to do body work, and then I can get rid of the rotisserie off the front. And alright, thought I'd show you where I was at. Alright, So we're out. But trunk lid's in color. Under the hood's in color and clear. Now I've got to get out of here and let it all dry up. Anyways. Cinnamon color, clear coated, and I got all the bolts in color and clear coated. So going in the house, got all my guns cleaned up, all my tools cleaned up. Alright, get back with you. Alright, next day, so letting this stuff continue to dry. Said like 18 hours or something like that, but it's 70 some degrees, but it was like 60 some degrees last night, so a little cooler. It's 72 in here now, so I'm gonna probably let them dry another day before I attempt to touch anything or do anything. So that's where I'm at, letting them dry. And I figured while I was waiting, I took a wire brush to the torsion bars and then cleaned them with some wax and grease remover. Got them all cleaned up. I'm gonna spray paint them black and maybe attempt to get them installed. Alright, next is to get this thing degreased. You can see where it leaked the power steering fluid out, because when he sandblasted it, he was flipping it over and he broke this piece off here. I had a spare to put back on it, but it's been leaking power steering fluid out, so I need to degrease it, finish cleaning it up a little bit, and then get this painted. I want to do that gray, smoke gray, like I did on the control arms and all that. So anyways, I'll be working on that, and I got those wire brushed, degreased, and put in some black paint so they can be installed. I have a little bit of dirt in my clear, so I will be, not the whole thing, but you know, like this area here, I will probably do a little bit of wet sanding and buffing to clean it up. Same way here in these little areas, not so much on the ribs, if that's what you want to call it, but in the flat areas I will try to do a little cleanup and polish on those. Gotta be expected, being in an old dirty garage with dirt and dust on the floor. Gotta get a little bit of dirt, so here's what it is. It'll get cleaned up and it'll look nice whenever they get installed on the car. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. Get back with you. Night night. Alright, so after taking some engine degreaser and getting that power steering foot off, I neutralized it with some brake clean, and then I sprayed some Ospo on it, kind of fast etch it, and then brake clean a second time, and now I'm just gonna let it hang here and kind of dry, and then I will shoot a little bit of paint on it. Alright, I'm out. Okay, so change of plans. I couldn't be just plain Jane. I never am. Went ahead and I painted this area smoke gray, pitman arm smoke gray, and then that area, not sure what that's called, and that piece all smoke gray. And what I'm going to do is let all that dry, and then I'm going to tape this area off, and that area, that piece, tape off the pitman arm, and of course that piece. Get it all taped off, and then I'll paint the rest black. That way it ain't just plain Jane one color. And that'll be that. Get back with you. Okay, so this video needs to be by itself. This came in the mail today from Glen Ray Radiators. If you guys haven't never dealt with Glen Ray, you're going to regret not dealing with him and him selling his business and moving on and retiring, because that guy, he is outstanding at what he does and what he does for people. Just top notch, that's all I can say. Bob over at Glen Ray is the bomb. So anyways, I got this in today. I'm going to do a little unpacking video here. I don't know if I can set my phone somewhere where it's going to stay. I'll try. Pretty exciting. Alright, looks like it's going to stay there. So I've already cut the tape around the edge here, and I'm getting ready to slide it up over here. Oh, maybe. And just like that, you can see it's in foam. Got one piece here, the foam. It's got the correct hose clamps on it. And then on this side, it has the bolts for the radiator and the shroud. And then it also has correct radiator cap for this year and model. And let me grab the phone here. There she is. So I'm going to pause the video and take it out and check the fitment, and I'll get back to you in a minute. Alright, and just like that, factory correct radiator for this car. Man, this guy is the bomb, dude, I'm telling you. It is really sad to see someone with his talent going out of business. Well, selling out and retiring, should I say, not going out of business, because he could probably be in business forever doing stuff like this. So anyways, let me get up in here and show you. Look at that. Perfect fit. Beautiful. Factory correct 28-inch radiator for 73 440 big block car. And he put this cap on here, but he also sent that numbers correct one. So let me turn this slide on. Three core, 1, 2, 3 core. My car should not have any overheating issues. Part number. Inlet and outlet on the passenger side. Alright. Like I said, man, it's can't say enough about the guy. Oh. And if you don't have a Glen Ray radiator, you better order one quick. Alright. Get this thing back off here and get it back in the box and put it over with the new parts that are going to be going on this car eventually. I just wanted to take it out of the box and definitely do a test fit and make sure everything was cool, which I knew it probably would be just because of who it is. Alright, I'm out. Glen Ray. Bob at Glen Ray over there hooked me up. Now for anybody that's interested, I ordered a radiator from Andy Pohl to send to Glen Ray's to have them rebuild it, and it is the correct one. You can see here for 73 B body with the big block in it. If anybody's interested in it, I would probably sell that one. And then I also have this C body radiator here too. This one's only 2 core, but I think the tank is wide enough where it can be turned into a 3 core if a guy wanted to. And it's got C body brackets on it, so they're a little bit different and taller than the B body, where this has got the correct B body Charger Roadrunner 73 74 brackets. Alright, talk at you later. Alright, so I need to get in my book and reference the torsion bar instructions here. I know I've done them before, but it's been so long ago I'm not sure if I need to lower the adjustments all the way down. I know that much, but am I supposed to cock the lower control arms at a certain level, or just leave them up even with the adjustments all the way down? Either way, I want to get in my manual and read up on it and see if I'm putting these things in right. Be back. Okay, last video for today. That's what I was talking about. Painting the body black, and then a couple of the other parts with the smoke gray. Alright, let that dry. Alright, so that's the bolts cleaned up that hold that in place. So I'm going to get this installed. I'll get back with you. Alright, after a little finagling around, that I had to clean the bolts up, but there we go. So almost a complete suspension in. Still have to tighten all the bolts down to specs, but I got mixed reviews on torsion bar installation yesterday, and some people said that this needs to be clocked down, and then there wasn't specific if they meant clocked down with the A-arm connected or with the ball joint connected, or clocked down without it connected. So it's a dilemma for me. I don't know. I would think that clocking it down that far would be almost impossible to raise the A-arm back up if it was clocked, because that flat would have to be here, and that would actually put the A-arm. So almost self-explanatory here, because if that flat that's on top right there was all the way down here, that would point the A-arm almost straight down. So I'm going to say more than likely that's where they are, is with the suspension all the way down as far as you can get it down, and then put the torsion bars in. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. I got to clean up the clips that go back here. I need to slide them back out and grease them before I put them back in. But I just wanted to make sure I was putting them in the right spot. I'll get back with you. Alright, I decided to jack with this a little bit. It had quite a bit of dirt in it. And disclaimer, before all the professionals jump in here to tell me what I'm doing and what I'm doing wrong, I don't claim to be perfect, by no means. All glory goes to the Father. Anything that I do, it's with Him. And that's that. So with that said, had a bunch of dirt in it. I did 800 wet to knock down a lot of the dirt nibs or whatever, and then I did 1500, and then a 2000. But after doing that, I just did a quick polish with the black lid, and that's what I came up with. The majority of the dirt stuff's gone. It might have a couple small spots, but, you know, right there, but nothing that you can just stand there and point out right quick. Anyways, I think it looks good for the bottom side of the hood, and I learned a few things by doing the bottom and learning how to do this on my own, so I don't have to beg body guys to do anything for me, or paint guys to do anything for me, and I could just try to figure out how to do it on my own. About a year ago, transmission went out on Dusty, and I had to replace it. Well, my dumbass, I was over here before the tool room was there, on the floor with a bearing remover, and I had my impact cranking down on it as hard as I could so that I can get the bearing removed off of, I think it was the input shaft. One of them, I don't remember exactly, but when I was doing that, the bearing exploded and went flying everywhere, and I was hoping, oh shit, I hope I didn't hit anything, because Pearl was parked over here at the time, Dusty was parked over there at the time. Long story short, it did hit something. It hit the trunk lid on Dusty, and hold on a minute. Alright, so anyways, back to the story here. I had to open the door and get over here. That's where the bearing hit. You can see, when you see that line up there, you can see how the line distorts as it's going by it. So that's where it hit, and it put a little dent in this car. And this car is super nice, and any kind of damage, you're gonna see it. So anyways, long story short again, after begging my paint guy that done this car to help me out and fix this dent, and to whatever it was going to take, you know, I was willing to pay to have it done. And I don't know if this is a fact or not, but I don't know, I shouldn't probably even say anything, but he basically stopped talking to me after the election, and really, I mean, he says he's not mad at me or nothing's going on, but he won't fix nothing for me. I've tried and tried to get him to do it, willing to pay him, and it's kind of sad, you know, because I've known the guy for a long time, and he painted Pearl for me, he painted this for me. When my car got stolen and I had to buy a new hood, and they dented the quarter panel and stuff like that, who did I go to? I went to him. So I had him repaint my hood and the front bumper, and when I first got the car, the rear bumper was fading, and I had him repaint that. My wife's silver car got rear-ended. Who'd I go to? I took it to him, had him fix it. This car here got backed into by a Tesla. Who'd I go to? I went to him. And on this one here, man, I got it back from him, and I didn't say nothing, but it was horrible. Not gonna say no names or anything, but there you go. Shit popping up. You can see the sand marks. All down through here you can see the sand marks. I don't know if you can see them on camera or not, but they're sanding marks. The Bondo he put in there starting to crack. Was this car perfect? No. But as a friend and somebody that I go to all the time, you would think that they would do you right, you know. And I don't know what he's going through in his life, so there very well could have been a bunch of stuff he was going through. Anyways, long story back short again. I got to learn how to do this stuff. So that's what I'm doing. I'm learning how to paint. I'm learning how to do body work. And when I did Pearl, I did all the body work on Pearl. He just basically shot the paint on it, and that body work turned out pretty damn nice. So this is my second go around, because after doing Pearl, I wanted this one to be outstanding, and when it came from his shop, it was outstanding. After about, I don't know, 2 years of driving it around, I ended up with a bunch of nicks and scratches and stuff all over the car. And he wanted fuel injection done on his car, so I did. I put fuel injection on his car for him. And for me to do that, he took this back in and to do a touch-up job on it and fix it up. He took it upon himself and decided, you know, that it would be easier for him just to repaint the whole car. So he did. He repainted the whole car. Unfortunately, the guy that he had doing the body work the second time hand sanded down the side of the car on both sides. And it came back not perfect anymore. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, it wins awards, but it doesn't hardly get any paint awards anymore like it did when I first bought the car and first had it done. I got that best paint award. Second go around, not so much. Another thing, my hood got damaged because it was rusted out and the hinge broke. So I found another hood and I took it over to him and he did the hood for me. Good guy, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say no names again, like I said, but at this point, I think that he's pissed off at me because of who I vote for, and he was mad that I voted for him, and ever since the election. So all I can say about that is, oh well, it is what it is. When Joe Biden got in office, I didn't stop hating any of my friends or start hating any of my friends or anything like that. And just a little rant. I'm done ranting. Anyways, got that done. Been working on this. I'm going to go ahead and flip the car back over here and start to get it set on the ground. Now that this is done, I can set it out of the way. I'm going to set this up out of the way and get the car over here and get it set on the ground, hopefully, and get it set where I can walk all the way around it and maybe get the trunk lid installed. That's where I'm at with it. Night night. Alright, been hard at it over here. So man, what the heck's going on with that? Move over here. So I got the rotisserie off of the front of the car so that I could get it set down on some jack stands so I can actually put the hood on the car and put the valance on, and enough room where I can walk through without bumping into anything for the most part. And I've got this ready to come off back here. I'll probably end up taking that off too, and then just taking it completely off the rotisserie. That way I got plenty of room to walk around the car, and I can get started with the body gaps, get the fenders done and repaired, rust hole spot here. I just think it's going to be better for me now to be down off the rotisserie now that the bottom of the car is all done, engine bay is done, and all the inside of the car is done. Definitely had to take the rotisserie off because it was up in here, and it never would have worked with me being able to put the hood on. But got to tighten the hood hinges down so that I can get the hood on the car. And then I also want to put the trunk lid on the car too, but I can't do that on my own, so I'll have to have some help to get that done. Probably mix a little bit of paint, not very much, just to shoot on the trunk hinges. Just that one, actually. That one's fine. I just missed this because the car was flipped over on its side. But other than that, for real, I like to just get the parts all put on the car so I can start lining stuff up for real. But anyways, look at there. Spot weld I missed, but anyways, yeah, I'll get that done, get it taken care of. Yeah, I can. So this has been a goal for a while now, and I can actually say goal accomplished. It's go time. Well, it's been go time for almost, let's see, November will be a year. So it's been go time for a while. But, alright, I'm going to get out of here for a while, go get cleaned up, relax a little bit. I said that was a lot of work. Night night. Alright, this is the last video of the week. I am done. I'm gonna get out of the garage. It's wore out. Got the trunk lid on. My son came down and helped me set it on. It's got some adjustments need to be done. Kind of got the weights on there to hold it down while I do my adjusting. But anyways, car on the ground. He helped me put the hood on. It needs a ton of adjusting too. Right off the bat, whenever I'm lowering the hood down, it wants to kick up in the back there for some reason. I think that might be just an adjustment in the hinge itself. I'll get that figured out. Alright, that's where I'm at. Did notice now that it's sitting on the ground, on jack stands. It's not actually sitting on the rotisserie. The door doesn't quite shut as nice as it did before. So we'll have to readjust that. So I've got this big gap up here. Yeah, so it's going to take some time to get these panels fitting right. Kicked out here. Small gap. Yeah, so this door shuts better now. But it's off a little bit too, so yep, that's where I'm at with it. I will probably spend this weekend adjusting and readjusting and continue to adjust and adjust this and adjust that, and got to get my I don't know what you call it now. Hold on, got a brain fart going on. Okay, what you call it, a front balance. So I got to get that put on still, and yep. All right, done for the week, or for the day. Last video for the week, should I say. I'll get back after this tomorrow sometime. Night night.